So, where are we again, Becca?
We're in the kingdom of Arendelle.
Arendelle. Nice. And we are back with Old Wives' Tales in Pediatrics Part 2. Okay. I'll start. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to talk about colic. You know, a colic is caused by abdominal pain, excess gas, formula allergies, intolerance to milk. That is an old wives' tale. See, the real cause for colic is really not known. However, there are some symptoms or lack of that you would see that would, let you attribute it to colic. So first of all, colic is simply the inconsolable crying of a healthy, well-fed infant. And, he's just crying. And it kind of lasts from anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. Now, it starts anywhere at the age of 2 to 3 weeks. And it kind of gets worse at about 6 weeks. But guess what? It starts to resolve and actually disappears at about 3 to 4 months of age. Okay? Now, a couple of things you need to know about colic. First of all, there are certain things you can do to treat it. Now, there is no medical treatment, there's no medicine involved, but there are things you can do. For instance, there's rhythmic rocking, there's maybe singing to the patient, there's a massage, maybe a warm bath, maybe take the baby for a walk or a ride. I remember when my daughter was born and she had severe colic. Then I was in residency and I used to study a lot into the night, so I'd just carry her while I'm reading my textbooks and just rock her, and that would last for hours, but she'd fall asleep, so, and it worked. Now, these don't always work for the same baby, because every child is different, but maybe 1 or 2 of them combined could help. But the most important thing to remember is always reassure yourself and reassure family members that it's nothing that you did or didn't do that caused the colic, okay? You might want to reassure family members too, because they might come up with all sorts of treatments and all sorts of things to do. But don't worry about it and give it some time. Just know that it will improve with time, okay? The other thing too is, finally, if all that you've tried is not working, you've rocked them, you've taken them for a walk or a ride, or you've even bought a vibrating chair or one of those wind-up swings, and that still doesn't work, then it's not a bad idea to let them cry for a little bit. Oh, I know, that sounds kind of harsh, right? But short periods of time, or you could just give them to a family member, and you as a mom or dad can take a break, and the family member can watch them. That may help, but those are some things to know about colic. What about you, Becca?
My turn? Yeah. Okay, myth number 2. You should force your picky eater to finish his or her dinner or clean their plate at every meal. I think it's safe to say that living in the South, this is a myth that we hear all the time, because we love to eat and we want our kids to love to eat too. Right. On the other hand, kids have to eat too, right? So here are some tips we have to limit the mealtime struggle and to make mealtime more enjoyable for all. So first, you want to limit their milk and juice consumption throughout the day. So during mealtime, they are actually hungry for solid foods. And then number 2, be flexible. Kids are picky. You want to provide 3 well-balanced meals at each mealtime. However, remember that most children only need 1 to 2 full meals. So if they've had a great breakfast and a great lunch, don't stress out too much if they don't eat everything at dinner. And lastly, be patient. Sometimes kids will refuse new foods for a long time, and that's developmentally normal. Just remember that you have to offer a food at least 10 to 15 times before you can say, in fact, okay, my child doesn't like that food.
10 to 15 times?
Yeah,
wow.
so keep offering.
Right.
They'll eventually get there.
Well, here's myth number 3, or old wives' tale number 3. That you as a parent should begin potty training at this age or that age, 2, 3, 18 months. That's an old wives' tale. Yes. Because actually, the truth of the matter is, potty training starts anywhere from 18 months to about 3 years of age, and it differs for every child. There could be a child that will start at 18 months, and there's another child that will start at 2 years, and then there could be a child that will start at 3. So there is no set time, but there are certain things that would give you the impression that the child is ready to start potty training. So really, it's based on the physical and developmental actuality or ability of the child, right? So if a child, for instance, is uncomfortable sitting in a dirty diaper, or tells you, "Mommy, I pooped," my 3-year-old says that all the time. Yeah, or wants you to change him or her, says, "Mommy, change me." You know, those would be the signs to tell you that he's probably ready, you know, for potty training. Sometimes they might say, "I want to sit in a potty chair," or "I want to sit in a big boy's toilet," you know, and that's the time to know that, okay, it's time to start to potty train the child. You may also sometimes see it in their facial expressions, you know, like they may hide behind the curtain, behind the chair, and they might grunt or show some different facial expressions or postures, okay? That's the time to, you know, say, okay, it's time to potty train. Remember, always praise the child when he tells you that he's pooped or he's soiled his diapers, right? And then encourage him or her to let you know ahead of time the next time. So praise and encouragement, those go a long way.
All right, myth number 4. If your child is doing badly in school, they have a short attention span, and they're a little bit rowdy, then they must have ADHD. So we need to understand that there are multiple reasons why children act out in school, and it's not always due to an ADHD diagnosis. Maybe the issue is a learning disorder or problems at home, poor studying skills, or other medical diagnoses such as depression or anxiety. So the main take-home point from this myth is that these children need to be evaluated by an experienced medical professional before you give them a diagnosis. And here at KION Pediatrics, we promise that we will go out of our way to get these children the help and resources they need.
Right. That's a big one, ADHD, yeah. Right? We see that quite a bit. Here's old wives' tale number 5. To just observe the child with speech or developmental delay, because the problem will probably go away. That's an old wives' tale. I think you need to do more than just observe. As a matter of fact, I know you need to do more than just observe. See, here's the deal. If the child has some form of language delay, speech delay, or motor delay, then that child needs to be evaluated by the pediatrician and possibly referred. Okay? Now, one rule of thumb for me is to always take the parents seriously when they say, "I think something's going on with my child's speech or my child's hearing," or "I think something's amiss with my child's developmental progress," right? Because the parents are the first ones to understand that and observe that, and they live with that child. So it's always important to take the parents seriously. And so once I get a complaint like that, then I go into full evaluation mode. I want to know what's the issue with the language. For instance, here's my basic rule of thumb. If the child is 2, right? So 2 over 4 is half. A parent should understand about a little more than 50% of what that child says, and a stranger should understand about 50%. If the child is 3, that's 3 over 4, that's 75%. So a stranger should understand 75% of what the child says, and the mom and dad, or whoever, you know, if it's a single parent, that parent should understand 100% of what that child says at 3 years of age. If the child is 4, that's 4 over 4, which is 100%. That means both the stranger and the mom or parents should understand 100% of what that child says. Now, if there is an issue with that, or it doesn't quite fit those numbers, then that's the time to refer. You know, you would want to refer to I think it's an early child developmental program. If the child is less than 3 years old, if the child is older than 3 years old, then you refer to the local school district. And then the first thing you want to do is get a formal hearing test, because the most common cause of a language delay is a hearing delay, so that or the child is not hearing properly, so therefore is not speaking properly. So you want to get a formal hearing test, possibly by the the ear, nose, and throat specialist or an audiologist, right? And you want to have that referral done, and you want it done early too, okay? That way you can continue to, if there's further intervention that's needed, you want to pursue that. So the fact that, or the statement that you can wait and watch and observe until it gets better probably is actually an old wives' tale, okay? Now for a motor delay, you also need a referral. And like I said, the appropriate referral would be an early childhood intervention program. Remember, it's not enough if the child responds to his or her name when you call him or her from another room. It's also not enough if in the PCP's office he responds to a loud clap or a bell. If that child is not speaking well, has some form of language delay, then he needs a formal testing for hearing by a specialist.
Okay, myth number 6. A mobile infant walker will help your child learn to walk faster. So that's not true.
Yeah, that's a myth.
Yes. In fact, the American Academy of Pediatrics is pushing to ban the manufacture and sale of baby walkers with wheels. And here's why. They can be unsafe. So if a baby is in a mobile infant walker, they can fall into a pool. They can reach higher objects, so they can reach items that are normally out of their reach, so they're more likely to get burned, poisoned, or choked. And they can also roll down the stairs if they're near stairs. So no, a mobile walker will not help your child walk faster, and in fact, they can actually be very unsafe. So I'm Becca Ward.
And I'm Dr. Kris, and now we're signing out. Those were our 6 old wives' tales, and we're here at KION Pediatrics.
See you next time.